What's up guys? So today I want to talk about 3 principles that I've picked up over the last year or so that helped me scale my business on Instagram to $40,000 per month, and that is all cash collected. We do more of that in terms of revenue and the deal secured, but cash collected, we are averaging out about 40k per month as of November 2021. If you're new to the channel, just very quickly, I help people with building their business on Instagram. I help coaches and consultants to scale their business to 6 figures and to scale to a 6-figure following as well, all through the power of organic marketing. Now, the first principle I want to talk about today is that the idea, and it's going to be quite hard for you to hear, but it's the idea that everything is your fault. So whether you're not growing, whether you're not getting clients, whatever is going wrong in your life, everything is your fault. Now, of course, you'll be sat there, you'll be thinking, well, Harry, there's going to be, some things that are outside of our control. And of course, there are certain things, certain situations, certain things that do come up, which are, which we have no control over and that just happen. But of course, there's that quote and that saying, I can't remember exactly how it goes, but it's, it's the idea that it's not about what happens, it's how you react to what happens that then decides and determines the kind of person you are, and ultimately then the success you're going to have moving forward. And I think this idea of that everything is your fault, and I want to try and dive into a bit more for you. I started to realize this, not straight away, it was probably about the start of this year in January time, maybe a bit after that. And I started to realize that my business wasn't growing as much as I wanted it to grow. And I was, before I was making excuses. I was saying, well, it's because of the algorithm. My content is not reaching more people, or that people don't realize the value that I can give. It's their fault that they can't see the value, or why are people not reaching out? Is it, and all these kind of reasons, I just kind of pushed it onto other people. And as soon as I kind of took responsibility for everything, and I mean absolutely everything, even things that are outside of my control, as soon as I took responsibility for that, that's when everything changed, right? So from around about April 2021, that's when I had a real big kind of shift in my mindset, and when I actually made my first big investment into myself and into a mentor. And what happened was I took responsibility for every single thing in my life. And this is not just business, this is personal things as well. And I'm still working on this, right? I'm not perfect by any means. It's like the small things. If I say I'm going to do something, I need to do it. I have to make sure I do it. And when it comes to business, I'm pretty good at that. When it comes to personal life, sometimes my wife will probably watch this back and will be like, screaming at me. I'm not very good at it. Sometimes I'll say, oh, I'm gonna do the dishes, or I'm gonna do the hoovering, and I'll put it off and I won't do it. But I need to overcome that, because at the end of the day, when these things don't get done in whether it's my personal life or in my business, on Instagram, at the end of the day, it's my fault. Right, it's my fault. And that can be quite a daunting feeling, understanding that everything you do, everything that happens to you, both successes and failures, is your fault. It can be quite a scary thing. But at the same time, it's quite liberating, right? It's liberating because then you understand that everything's in your control. If you want things to be better, you can make them better. But the idea is it's only you can do that, right? And it's something that I kind of have been working on. Like I said, I'm not perfect at it, but I've been working on it over the last year or so. It's made a massive difference. Okay, so if you're sat there and you're kind of upset that you're not having success, or that things aren't going your way in the nicest way possible, it's your fault, right? It's your fault. If you're not getting clients, if you're not getting paid what you think you deserve to get paid, it's your fault. If you're not growing on Instagram as much as you want to grow, it's your fault. If you're not having a good relationship with your partner, with your friends, it's your fault. Take personal responsibility for every single thing you do. And honestly, I promise you'll see a dramatic shift in kind of your lifestyle, your business, and everything else around you. Okay. The second we want to focus on, or the second principle, is this idea that simplicity scales and complexity fails. Now, you've probably been sold the idea that to build an online business, you need funnels, you need ads, you need email sequences, you need follow-up sequences, you need to nurture people for 20 years before they actually buy from you, and probably all other things as well. When the reality is that you don't need those things, right? My funnel, and I'm going to give away my secret. My funnel on Instagram is very simple. I post content, I push people to my profile, I take them from my profile to my stories. From my stories, they go into my DMs. From the DMs, they go to a sales call, and from a sales call, they become a client. It's very simple. No automation. There's no real kind of big system behind it. It's very simple. It's very human-centered, customer-centered. And that's why it works. That's why it works. And that scales. As soon as you start trying to do multiple different things, funnels, websites, landing pages, ads, affiliate deals, all of these other things, email marketing, as soon as you start trying to put all of these things together, you're adding more complexity to your system for no reason, right? So the best thing you can do is just pick one of them, right? And you don't have to do the same as what I do. You can do email marketing, you can do cold calling or funnels, you can do whatever you want to do. They all work, right? So if someone tells you they don't work, they do, but they all have pros and cons and they all work in different ways. But the key thing is you just have to pick one, right? You need to pick one, focus on that and scale it up. And in some ways that, the difference between me being at 5 to 10K per month to me now being at 40K per month is that I've begun to scale the unscalable, right? And it's something that Gary Vee said on one of his videos, this idea of that it's like the one-to-one, the personal connections. It's being able to talk to people on the DMs or on a sales call. Those are the actual things that help you to convert people much more readily and actually convert people at a much greater scale. But the difficulty is actually in scaling that because of the manpower and the time it takes to do those things. But that's the best way to do it, or one of the best ways to do it. And that's why not many people are able to have this kind of business model and do it successfully, because they struggle to scale the unscalable. And I think that's a video for another time. There's so much to that, and I want to keep it kind of focused on these principles. But let me just move on to the final principle I want to focus on, which is that you don't need more things to scale, right? So principle number 3, you don't need more things to do better. You don't need more things to scale your business. And this is something that I really did struggle to wrap my head around, because I look around on Instagram and I can see people with ebooks, mini courses, online courses, coaching, group coaching, masterminds, one-to-one, mentoring. Like they have like 10 different offers and they're doing well. And I ask myself, and I say to myself, I need to be doing all of those things. And it's this idea, it's that kind of FOMO, it's that fear of missing out, or that shiny object syndrome that happens. And what you end up doing is that your kind of thought processing and what you focus on, it just gets spread out. It gets spread so thin that you then can't scale anything because you're trying to do everything at once. And what I've seen from people who are very successful, in terms of my mentors, people who I've taken courses from, but also when I look at billionaires, people like Jeff Bezos and like Elon Musk and like all these other people, Gary Vee for example, they all started with one thing. They all scaled one thing, one offer, one process, one kind of market they focused on, one system, one funnel, one message, one outcome. They focused on one thing for years, scaled that up to like multi-million dollars or pounds. And then they diversified into other ideas and into other avenues. And I think that's what most people miss, is that they try to do so many different things at once that they never scale that one thing, right? So like kind of my big takeaway from this, especially when it comes to Instagram, it's kind of like with like content as well. Of course, you can have all the different types of content. You can do carousels, you can do reel, you can do video, you can do single images, you can do IGTV and so on, guides and all these other things. But is it actually going to serve you in the best way possible? Maybe not. Maybe not. What I done was I picked one format, which is carousels, and I just done that for 1 year straight, just carousels. And I learned and mastered how to create a carousel. So now people know me as one of the experts in creating carousels. And that's what helped me grow my page from 0 to 100,000 followers in 9 months, because I just focused on that one thing. And I think the key takeaway for me is that I obviously have my main program, my kind of consulting program, mentoring program that we have now that I run. And I am getting that FOMO. I'm getting that shiny object syndrome where I want to do other things, or I want to have a second call. So I want to have Facebook ads. So I want to have funnels and all these other things to scale. But in reality, I'm holding myself back. I know that I don't need those things. That's going to add complexity, and I don't need those things to scale up. So I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. I'm going to scale the unscalable. I'm going to understand that complexity fails, simplicity scales. And I'm also going to understand that if anything breaks, if I have any problems, if I don't have the success that I'm looking for, or if I do have the success I'm looking for, that at the end of the day, everything is on me, right? And if everything's on me, I'm in control. And that's why I started my business in the first place, is so I could have control over my life, right? And like I said, it is scary. There's a lot of pressure to it, but that's what makes it fun. Where there's no risk, there's no reward. And if you don't have control, then it's very difficult to have fun with it as well. And I know that, moving forward, there will be mistakes, there will be failures. But on the upside, outweighing that is there will be a lot of success. And that's what it takes to kind of, to be able to build a big business. And by no means is my business big compared to some other people, but it's much bigger than what it was. But this is what it takes. It takes that ownership. It takes that that mindset that you're in control, that everything's your fault. And if you can do that, and if you can move forward with that mindset, I promise you, it will be difficult, but you will experience exponential growth that you've never experienced before, because you are finally taking responsibility for where you are and who you are right now. Okay. So yeah, I'm going to wrap this video up. I hope that was valuable for you. If you've got any questions, you've got any thoughts on these kind of 3 principles, feel free to drop a comment below. I'd love to hear your opinions, what you think, whether you agree, disagree or not. You can also check out this video. I think it'll be there. This is about the habits, the kind of 4 habits that I've used and I've focused on to help grow my page on Instagram specifically. So you might want to check that one out. But if not, appreciate you watching. Don't forget to drop a thumbs up, hit subscribe, and then I'll see you in the next video.